I don't know how to feel about this new Avengers trailer. It has been 7 years since the last Avengers movie, and at that time, it felt like Marvel was an absolute powerhouse that had no signs of slowing down anytime soon. But what we didn't know is that when the Infinity Saga came to a close, this would also mark a significant drop in the overall quality of their films and storytelling. I think it's important to remember just how good Marvel was at making movies about individual characters with their own interesting stories, and then finding a way to have them all unite on the same screen and make it feel natural and make sense. I think that people these days forget about how big the Avengers was when it came out in 2012, and it almost felt like Marvel had accomplished the impossible. They would spend the next 6 years building up two of the biggest movie events of all time, Infinity War and Endgame. Both of these movies are massive in scope and size and budget, but the thing that makes both of them special is that Marvel spent so much time carefully curating and interweaving these stories between these characters that made audiences feel invested and really care if something happens to them. And it just doesn't seem like Marvel has had any sense of direction since Endgame, and they have released some of the worst superhero films, not only of their own franchise, but some of the worst of all time. Like, if I put a list of all the movies that have come out since Endgame up on the screen, which would you honestly say is your favorite? With the exceptions of Spider-Man, The Guardians, and Deadpool and Wolverine, these movies have been either middle of the road or just plain bad. Not only have the films themselves been bad, but none of them really have anything to do with each other or tie into each other in any meaningful way. So now here we are getting our first look at Avengers Doomsday, and I find myself not really that excited, and I think this has to do with two main reasons. I think one of the things this trailer needed to do is give us a little taste of who Doctor Doom is and why he poses such a huge threat that necessitates another Avengers movie. You get a couple of shitty glimpses of him in the shadows, and he stops Thor's hammer with two fingers, which a lot of people online are treating like this holy crap type moment where this single tiny thing shows off how strong and menacing he is. Meanwhile, you had Thanos absolutely whooping everyone's ass in the Infinity War trailer. This movie is literally called Doomsday, and they had a real opportunity to show off a little bit more of the main antagonist of the film, and they just didn't for some reason. But the biggest problem that I have with this trailer is pretty much also my biggest worry for this movie, and that is, I don't know who the Avengers are in this movie. Take a look at this image from the trailer. On the left, you have the discount Avengers known as the Thunderbolts. Right behind them, you have the Fantastic Four, who are kind of okay. Their movie was pretty decent. And then on the right, you have Thor, discount Captain America, and everyone's favorite superhero, Ant-Man. Does anybody else feel like this image just looks super disjointed? Like, there's nothing here that really ties any of these groups of heroes together. They have no history with each other. And somehow they're gonna tie in the Fox-era X-Men of the early 2000s in this too. Based on everything we have so far, this movie is starting to look like it could shape up to be a bit of a mess. I have no idea on how they plan on juggling all these characters, half of which I feel like very few people really care about in the first place. Like I said before, Marvel made their name off of crafting individual stories that we cared about and then having them interweave over a series of films that led to a satisfying conclusion. Marvel is going to try and hype this movie up to have the same weight and gravity as Infinity War and Endgame, but I think the difference maker is that those movies were built up so meticulously over the course of years of great storytelling. I am a fan of superhero movies, and I genuinely want this one to succeed. I know it's going to sell tickets off of the Avengers name alone, but this trailer didn't really do anything to reassure me that we are going to get anything really special here. But what do you guys think? Are you excited for Avengers Doomsday? Let me know down in the comments, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.